Welcome to Trauma Yoga. We're going to start with laying on our backs. So coming into a back laying position and whatever feels good and comfortable to you. So you can choose to lay on your back and allow your knees to knock in on each other. Or you can choose to have your legs out long. You can just choose to have them just softly bent. Again, it's completely up to you to listen to your body. And just starting on our backs in a comfortable position here. Beginning to bring our awareness to our breath. We're going to notice our belly rising and falling. I like to have my hands on my belly to really feel it rise and fall. But that's simply your choice. You can have your hands by your sides if it feels better to you. Breathing nice and deep. Really bringing that awareness to that breath. Noticing the path that it travels through our body. As we set our intention for our practice here today, I want us to know and trust in ourselves that our breath will guide us in through our movement and that our body will guide us to the extent of the movement that we are able to do here today, without judgment, without forcing ourselves to do something, by just simply listening to our bodies. Setting that intention of trust and setting that intention of letting go of expectations and judgment. Leaving those at the door and just simply experiencing our own body here today in this practice. Taking our arms above our head, we're just going to bring them together, and you can clasp them or whatever feels good. You can just let them hang above your head. The idea here is just to let your arms hang. We're going to take our knees and we're going to knock them over to the left. And just allowing our shoulders to relax down on our mat and letting our knees just fall up and over to the left. Checking in with our body and noticing what that feels like. Are we feeling a stretch? Is one knee not touching the other knee? Or maybe they're both touching. Maybe this is an easy position for you. Maybe you feel a pinch in your shoulder or somewhere else, maybe that's unexpected for you, and just bringing awareness to that. And taking your breath into that space where we're feeling a little bit of discomfort. With each exhale, we release and we relax a little bit more into our discomfort. Just simply experiencing it. Let's guide our awareness behind our right shoulder blade. Behind that right lung, I want you to notice that shoulder blade relaxing down into the mat. Can you find space in your back side body? Can you breathe into that right rib cage expanding, creating space all through that right side body? Let's do 2 more full breaths here. And on our exhale, we exhale, bringing our knees back up through center. Taking our knees now this time over to the right. Trying to keep those shoulder blades down with our mat, but not forcing anything, just noticing where we fall. What does this feel like in comparison to the other side? Do you notice the same sensations that you were feeling before? Checking in with our body and checking in with our breath here. This time we're relaxing that left shoulder down onto our mat. Finding space behind our heart center. Can we relax a little deeper? Can we breathe a little bit more into that left side body, finding space? Finding a little bit more ability to breathe into that left side body. Let's do 2 more rounds of breath here. And on the next exhale, we bring our knees back up through center. And let's just take this time, taking our hands down by our sides, taking our right leg up and over our left leg, crisscross applesauce. And from here, we're just going to drop those knees off to the left. Noticing what this feels like in comparison to the last posture. Having our arms down or maybe by our sides. Can you relax that right shoulder blade back and still find space for that breath in that right side body as we twist a little bit further than we did previously? Taking those nice deep belly breaths here. Let's do 2 more full rounds of breath. And on the next exhale, we bring our knees back up through center. Taking our right leg up off our left. And let's take that left leg up and over the right. And then we drop our knees off to that right side body. This time trying to keep that left shoulder engaged with the mat. Twisting a little deeper, yet finding that space and openness all through that left side body. What does that feel like here today on our mats? Every practice is unique because there's not one practice that is alike, that is the same as the previous practice. And coming in with that expectation of excitement and prosperity, that this is a new beginning, a different practice, and we let go of any expectations that maybe we held from a previous practice. Let's do 1 more round of breath here. And as we exhale, we bring those knees back up through center. Let's take this opportunity to bring our knees into our chest and just rock side to side, or maybe forward and back, or maybe you like a figure 8. Maybe you like to just move your knees. Again, your practice, your choice. Listening to our bodies. Let's take that right knee in towards our right shoulder, extending that left leg out nice and long. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale, let that right leg flow out. Left knee comes in. Bringing that left knee out around to that left shoulder, taking a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale, let the leg go, floating that right leg in this time. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Option as we exhale to bring that forehead up towards our knee. We inhale, we come back down, and we exhale that leg out nice and long. Left knee comes in. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, option to roll up. Inhale, coming back down. Exhale, switching sides. Let's speed this up. Inhale. Exhale, curl if you choose. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Using that breath. Your choice. Inhale. Exhale, curl if you choose. Inhale, coming back down. Exhale, switch last time. Inhale. Exhale, curl if you choose. Inhale. Exhale, those legs out nice and long, arms out nice and long above your head. Give yourself that nice, lovely stretch. Oh, so good. I love the little good morning stretch. I like to wiggle my fingers and my toes. So we're going to turn on our proprioceptive system by rolling our wrists and our ankles. Pick a direction, any direction. Let's go the other way. Just beginning to turn on that system of movement and titration within the body. Let's roll onto one side, and we slowly make our way up onto all fours. Okay, we're going to come into our sunbirds or bird dogs. It's been called both. So our knees are underneath our hips, our hands are underneath our shoulders. From here, we're going to lift opposite arm and opposite leg. So I'm going right arm, left leg. Completely up to you what you'd like to choose. We're going to hold one side, 2 hips in one line. We're not rotating open. So we're looking for those 2 hips in one line. And we're going to reach forward as if to shake someone's hand. Taking a nice deep inhale here. We're going to exhale knee and elbow into the center of our body. Inhale, lift, reach. Exhale, coming down through center. So if this crunching motion is too much for you with your breath, you can exhale just down and up. Again, we're using our own breath and movement here to come into what feels good to us, but we're just moving. We inhale, we rise, and as we exhale, we sink, and whatever that version of sinking looks like to you. Let's do 2 more. One more. Planting that knee back underneath our hip, our hand underneath our shoulder. This time we switch sides. Inhaling, lifting. I'm going left arm, right leg, but you do the opposite side, the side that you haven't already done here. Ooh. Checking in that 2 hips are in one line. Extending that hand forward as if to shake someone's hand. Holding that belly button in nice and tight towards our spine, taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, elbow down towards your knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Again, you have that option to just simply exhale, hand and leg down. You also have the option to not lift both opposite arm and opposite leg. You can do just leg or just arm. Everybody can do yoga because we're moving with breath. And we move to the extent that we're able to do here today in this moment on our mat. Every day is different. And we welcome each day with the opportunity that it presents, with the opportunity that it teaches us to listen to our bodies and to experience what they're able to do today. 2 more. Exhale, replace. Just take some moment to kind of find that lateral movement in your body. What does that feel like to you? What does it feel like to move side to side? Okay. So from this all fours posture, we're just going to start with crunching that right side body. So bringing that shoulder down towards our hip. Here you should be crunched in from a front position, looks like this. Crunching to the side. Okay, so from our crunched position, we are going to take our head and we're going to look over our shoulder as if to check out our toes. I want you to look back and find those toes. With that head, leaving our head where it is, we're going to take that eye gaze. We're going to look over to our left, trying to see if we can find those left fingertips. So not moving our head, we're just moving our eyes. Looking for those left fingertips. Feels funny on the eyes. Just keep searching here. Keep looking left. We're beginning to reset our nervous system. Bringing our awareness to our breath. Just keep looking left, finding those fingertips, breathing, crunching that right side body. You're safe. You can do this. You are capable. Bringing that eye gaze back into our head. Bringing our head back around front and uncrunching that right side body. Let's give ourselves a little wiggle here. Yes, give it a wiggle. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. You guys ready for this? This is the fun side, right? Okay, so this time we're going to bring that left shoulder down towards our left hip. Crunching sideways. We take our head to look over that left shoulder, trying to find our toes with our head. Now, without moving our head, we're going to look to our right, searching for those right fingertips. Can you find them? Just keep searching, looking right. Crunching left side body, looking right. We're using both sides of our brain. We're really turning on all of the synapses in our brain because now our brain has to think, oh my gosh, where are my eyes going? What's my body doing? I got to crunch. I've got to now turn on both sides of my brain to start to function here. And this realigns that spine. It relaxes through eye gaze, relaxing the muscles all around our upper vertebrae. Breathing, bringing our awareness to breath. If we're feeling any sensations, any nervousness, any excitement, maybe any overwhelm. If you notice your eyes keep trailing back, keep bringing them back to the right. So that's okay if they're trailing. That's totally okay. It's our system trying to reset here. Taking one more inhale. Bring our eyes back into our head, looking back over our body here, bringing our head back around front and uncrunching. Give yourself a little wiggle. Woo, that was fun. Okay, so from here, we're going to take our right leg. We're going to kick it out behind us, opening up that left leg nice and long, opening up into our supported side plank. So right leg is a kickstand, left leg out long, opening up into that supported side plank. Now you do have that option if you want more of a challenge to come into a full side plank. I'm going to stay here in my supported side plank because I prefer supported side plank. But it is completely up to you. Again, it's your practice. And sometimes we need to give that ego mind something to do, something to focus on. So sometimes that challenge becomes what we give our brain to focus on, and it allows our body to relax into the posture. Totally up to you. We're going to begin to flow our side plank. Taking a nice deep inhale, we scoop down. Exhale, open up. Inhale, scooping. Exhale, open. Inhale. Exhale. So flowing with your own breath here, using your own breath to guide you through your inhales and exhales in your supported or full side plank. So if you're in a full side plank, it's still going to be the same position. So we allow that breath to guide us. Taking another deep inhale. Exhale, up and hold. Let's hold here. Let's take a full round of breath at the top here. Opening through that left side body. Exhale, coming down onto all fours once again. I'm going to turn so you guys can see me. Okay, so we're on all fours. We're going to kick our left leg out this time. Right leg opens, opening up nice and wide. Coming into that supported side plank just on the opposite side here. Again, you have that option to come into a full side plank. This is your practice, your choice. And we already know what we're doing. Taking a nice deep inhale, we scoop down. Exhale, extending up, feeling ourselves growing a little longer, a little taller. Do you notice that your arm can reach a little higher? Can you find a little bit more space in that right side body as you lift and extend? Keep breathing. Let's do 2 more and we'll meet at the top. When we exhaled all the way up to our top position, we're holding, we're breathing, a couple rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Coming back onto all fours, we'll press it back into our first child's pose today. So taking any of the options of child's pose that feel good within your body. If you've got a pillow or a block, you can support yourself under your head. You could also support yourself under your belly if you had a big pillow that you could have there. You could allow those hands to fall down. You could stack fists. You can take your knees nice and wide and allow space for that belly to fall inwards. And let's just take a moment here and check in with our bodies. What is it that we're feeling here? Have we noticed anything come up during our practice? Are we feeling any emotions or are you noticing any sensations within the body? Did you feel any tingling? Anything that was, made you think a little? And knowing that child's pose is here for you at any point during your practice, this is a safe place for you to come. This is a place of rejuvenation. This is a place of certainty. It is a place of safety and a place that you can come into at any point. So if you start to feel anything during your class and you need a moment, come into child's pose. Let's inhale, coming back up. Let's curl our toes under, pressing it up into a downward facing dog. And just as I've mentioned in previous classes, if down dog is not available to us, we can also choose to come into puppy. So puppy is just a shortened lever of down dog, right? So we just take the shins out of that from shin to feet and we come down onto our knees. So coming into our downward facing dog or puppy. Let's breathe. You have that option to pedal it out if it feels good to you. Walk that dog. I'm just going to open up a little bit through the front hip joint here. So taking a nice deep inhale, lifting that right leg up high towards the sky. Let's just bring it up and over that left side body, coming into 3-legged dog. So if you're in puppy, then you're just going to do that same thing where you extend that leg back. So same idea, just a different version. So listening to our bodies with what we're able to do here today. Just opening up through that right hip joint. Taking some breath. Coming out if you need to, but listening to your body. Allowing your breath to calm you, to keep you in this space. Twisting our hips back around forward, taking that right leg, we're going to step it on through and find lunge. So you have that option of full lunge or kneeling lunge. Completely up to you. So from that full position or down onto that knee. All I ask is that that knee is in line with the ankle on the front leg. Ooh. So we're in that nice kneeling or full lunge, stretching out through that left hip flexor here. We're going to come into our lizard pose, and so that's just bringing our hands on the inside of that knee. And you have that option to come down onto a block, with your elbows to come down towards the floor. And if neither are available to you today, you can choose to just bend those elbows. But again, we're just stretching through that inner thigh. We're stretching through our hip flexors essentially on both sides. Taking some breaths here. Let's come back up onto our hands if we're down in our lizard. We're going to take our left hand towards our right foot, our right hand towards our right sit bone, and we're going to twist towards that right knee. So feeling that twist here, belly twisting towards our knee. We're just going to hold here. So sometimes we come into a full extended arm up, and you can do that if you want to. You can choose to come up here, but I'm going to encourage you to keep that hand back and to roll that right shoulder down and back and really begin to open through that chest. What does that feel like in your left hip flexor? Again, at the very beginning of class, we talked about finding space behind that shoulder. What can you do to find space behind this right shoulder as you twist open? What can you do to prevent that shoulder from caving forward? And again, we listen to our bodies and we practice with what makes our bodies feel good here in this space. Maybe I need to ease out of the lunge a little bit because that feels better to my body. So again, listening to your body, whether you're in full lunge, kneeling lunge, doesn't matter. If you need to press out of the lunge a little bit, we listen to that. Breathing. And from here, can you give me a shoulder roll? Can you roll that right shoulder? Can you find that titration, that movement through that right shoulder as we hold this twisting lunge? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Do you notice any sensations arise as we begin to bring motion into this twist? As we twist through our internal organs, right? Really bringing awareness through that hip joint, through those sensations that we might be feeling. Taking another deep inhale here. Exhale, untwisting, coming back around front. We're going to come into our pigeon pose. So we're taking that right leg and we're just going to drop it down. Oh, that was a nice transition, actually. You guys did that very well. Okay, so we're looking for our front leg roughly parallel, not completely parallel with the front edge of our mat. All I don't want to see is I just don't want that leg tucked right back where you're not actually able to see both hips. So we want to open that up a little bit, and you want to see both hips here coming into equal sides. All right, turn back this way. Nice soft pillowy cushion for my knee. Okay, so we're extending back with that left leg. We're sitting up nice and tall. You have the option to stay here. You also have the option to come down and forward into your pigeon here. We listen to our bodies and we practice supporting ourselves how we need to. So if you have a block or a pillow and it feels better to tuck it underneath that hip, feel free to take that block or pillow and tuck it underneath that hip. Or maybe it feels better to tuck it underneath your forehead. Maybe you have a nice big pillow that you can kind of roll over here and just allow yourself to fall into. That would be lovely. I wish I had one of those. So really just listening to our body and just finding space where we need space. Finding the state where we can let go, where we need to let go. We hold so much in through our hips. There's so much pressure here within our body, within our mind. So really bringing that awareness to how can I let things go just a little bit more, a little bit further? How can I find a little bit more space within my body? So in our pigeon posture here, I want you to try and bring awareness to that breath and see if you can fill your lower abdomen with air. Can you guide that air deep into that belly? Or does it continuously flow only in our upper respiratory system? Can we guide it a little deeper? Imagine pulling that breath all the way down to the tip of your tailbone. What does that sensation feel like? How would you do that? As you pull that breath down deep into that tailbone, does the muscles around your hips tighten a little? As you exhale, do they relax a little further, a little more? Again, doesn't need to in either direction. It's just simply there for you to notice, there for you to take stock of, essentially. Let's take one more breath here. And as we exhale, we slowly begin to come back up. Let's curl our back toes under, pressing it back into our downward facing dog. So option to take that dog for a walk if it feels good to you. Same thing as before. If you'd like to find puppy, you can go straight into your puppy. All right, let's see if we can't do the same thing on the other side. Lifting the left side up this time. Let's open that leg up and over to that left side. Finding three-legged dog now. Same thing here as before. If you're in your puppy, you just open that leg up to the side. What does that feel like? Letting gravity do the work. What does it feel like in comparison to the other side? Do you notice that you're tighter on one side, or that you just seem to move a little bit more fluidly on another side? That's totally cool too. No judgment per side. There's not a good side or a bad side. It's just a side. But we're just simply noticing here. We're becoming observers of our body and observers of our space. We are our own scientists and checking in with that body. Taking that knee this time, let's step it on through. Finding that lunge on the other side. Again, kneeling or full, your choice, your lunge, your practice. We challenge ourselves where we need to challenge ourselves, and we let it go where we want to let it go, and that's okay. Know that most of the time I'm going to try and do the kneeling lunge to support you here. And if you want to go further into your practice, you're always welcome to. Because again, this is your practice. So we're going to take those hands onto the inside of our knee once again, finding lizard. So option to bend those elbows, option to come down onto a block or a mat or a pillow. Option to ease out of that lunge a little bit if you feel like you need a little bit of an ease. This time we're going to take that right hand towards that right foot, that left hand towards that left sit bone. We're going to twist towards that left knee, twisting open here. Again, what can you do to prevent that left shoulder from rolling forward? So I'm going to turn so you can see me. What can you do to prevent that shoulder rolling forward? Can you roll it open? How can you twist a little bit more? Maybe you need to apply a little bit more pressure into that right hand. Maybe you need to roll that shoulder down and open, but what does that feel like? Checking in with our body here. Finding that space, finding that twist. Do you notice any vibration or any sensation coming into your body? Can you find a little bit more space into that left side body as you breathe, as you twist? Can you Open up the left side behind that heart center. Can you find a little bit more space behind your heart? We are all loving beings. And sometimes we just need a little bit of space. So what does that space look like and feel like to you? All right, let's take that left shoulder and begin to roll it. Let's begin to find that movement, that titration within the body as we twist. What does that feel like? Wonderful. Couple more rolls here. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, coming back through centered. We're going to find our pigeon on the other side. So let's drop that front leg. Coming down. Extending that back leg back. So our front shin should be roughly parallel with the front edge of our mat. So it's not tucked underneath our body. Same thing here. So if you need it, you can always choose to grab a block or a pillow or whatever is around you and stuff it underneath that hip. Maybe we want a little bit more support. Again, this is all about finding comfort and easing into our bodies to reconnect with our bodies. Coming down onto our elbows if it feels good to us. Grounding through that forehead through fists, wrists, or even onto our mat. And bringing that sensation and that awareness back to our breath here. Checking in with our body once again. Noticing any sensation through the stretch. Noticing any sensation in our feet or our toes. Maybe out to the tip of your forehead. Is there anything that you're noticing there? Can you bring any awareness back to that breath, back to this space? Can you drive that breath deep down into that belly, down into that reptilian brain? Can you massage out that deep inner brain? Can you drag that breath down into your tailbone? Can you unravel your spine a little more? And maybe you shift a little bit more forward. Maybe you drop those shoulders a little further away from your ears. Noticing, is my breath coming from my mouth or my nose? Where am I breathing here? How am I drawing my breath into my body? Where am I drawing the breath into my body? As I exhale, can I relax and find a little bit more space within my body? Our mind is a very powerful thing. And so what we focus on, it does. And so if we can relax and imagine that we open and find space in through that hip, you will notice that your hip relaxes and finds space. Again, we're the observers of our practice. We're here just to be our own scientists, to experience what we're experiencing and to take note and take stock of what we're experiencing, checking in with our body, checking in with our day and what's going on within our day and within our week and within our month, and how that affects our body, how that affects our self-talk, how that affects the messaging that's going on here. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, bringing our head up, planting our hands. Let's curl our back toes under and taking it back. Downward facing dog or puppy. Option to walk it out. So from here, we're going to walk our feet up to the top of our mat. And just hang out in our standing forward fold. Let it go. So just maybe you rock side to side. Maybe you grab your elbows and you sway. Again, your forward fold is simply your forward fold. So we want to allow those sit bones to rise up high towards the sky, planting firmly through our feet And grounding our hands. So our hands ground on our mat, on our shin, on our thighs, on a block, whatever feels good. I like to take a nice deep bend through my knees and allow my belly to sandwich onto my legs, allowing my belly to have that support. Allowing our necks to let go. Our necks hold our head up all day long. They have a very important job. But sometimes we hold a lot of tension in our neck. So we're going to allow that neck to let go. And let's just take this opportunity to nod yes. To nod yes to letting go. What does that feel like? Can you find a little bit of space in the back of your spine? As we nod yes, we're letting go. We're finding space. And we're sending loving, caring energy to our spine. From yes, we're going to take our head and we're going to shake it no. No more judgment, right? Noticing, can I find space within my spine as I shake it? No. No more judgment, no more expectations. We're just going to practice being here in our no. No is a very powerful word, right? Sometimes we take it for granted. We try to please others by saying yes, but at the end of the day, we're displeasing ourselves. So learning to say no here on our mat is sometimes a powerful thing. Let's keep that space within our head and just allow ourselves to just simply be here, to relax. Sometimes it feels good to grab elbow to elbow. Taking a nice deep bend through our knees, let's roll up one vertebrae at a time. Just checking in, giving yourself a little bit of a roll if you need a roll. Whew. Maybe you feel a little discombobulated from all that spinal traction that we did in our forward fold there. That's okay, just checking in with your body. Okay, from here, we're going to take our left arm and float it up high towards the sky. Our hips kick off to the left. Our left arm reaches a little higher. Imagine that you're being pulled up by a bunch of balloons. Let's really take that breath and open up through that left side body. Can you drop that left shoulder down and back into your spine? Is it coming up towards your ear? Can you drop it into the spine? Can you find a little bit of space behind that left shoulder? Maybe that means that you can bring your left shoulder back a little further once you drop it down into your spine. Maybe you're finding that you're needing a little bit more strength in that left shoulder as you lift up high towards the sky. And we work on strengthening that shoulder girdle. And that's a great place to be. Finding space in through that left side body. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, slowly let it go. Ooh. Taking that right arm, inhale, right arm up high towards the sky. Hips go off to the right, reaching up towards the sky, reaching up with two of those balloons. Maybe you're reaching to the clouds here. Can you take that right shoulder and roll it down and back into your spine? Can you find space behind that right shoulder? Can you reach those right hands up a little higher, the left hand's a little lower, down towards the floor? Without raising that shoulder, can you keep it dropped into the spine and really opening, twisting a little bit more, finding that level ground as we reach up high towards the sky, breathing into that right side body. Exhale, let it go. Time for our first back bend. Taking our hands into a prayer position, but extending our fingers out nice and wide. We're going to take our thumbs and place them on our sternum or on the top of our breastbone here. From here, our hands are extended wide into a star-like pose. Taking a nice deep inhale, we're shifting our weight into our toes, kicking our hips forward. We lift up and over the beach ball. So you don't want to hinge into that back. Imagine yourself just rolling up over a big beach ball, lifting that heart center up towards the sky to point those baby fingers up, straight up towards your ceiling, towards the sky, towards the world above you. Noticing what that little bit of a back bend feels like. Can you notice where your shoulders are located? Are they located up towards your ears? Can you drop them down into your spine? Can you lift up and over that beach ball as you drop those shoulders into the spine? Now imagine squeezing a yoga block in between your shoulder blades. I want us to bring our awareness to squeezing that yoga block between our shoulder blades. Can you find a little bit of tension here as we begin to strengthen through that backside body? Squeezing, dropping those shoulder blades down and back, breathing. Lots to think about here. Pressing those hips forward. Let's do 2 full rounds of breath. Inhale. Exhale, coming up and forward fold all the way down. Let it go. So again, we ground ourselves however felt good in our forward fold the first time. Checking in with ourselves. Noticing what those side bends and back bends felt like. Noticing what our body is sensing here in this moment. Taking a nice deep bend through our knees, let's slowly roll up once again. We're just gonna have a little bit of fun here. We're just gonna move our bodies and just practice finding that movement within our bodies. So let's find rhythm. So often when we tend to go through chronic stress, trauma, PTSD, anxiety, all those kinds of things, we become disconnected with our body. And that's why we focus so much on bringing our awareness through our breath. But the other thing that we miss and we lose sight of is that ability to find rhythm within our breath, that ability to find space within our body. So when we find rhythm within the body, I want you to go to the beat of your own drum. We're just going to begin to flow those arms. Yeah, what does that feel like? What does the music in your body sound like? What is that beat? But we're using that breath to guide us. So as we're finding that rhythm through our arms, I want you to imagine your crown, the top of your head, is growing nice and tall. You've got that king or queen or whatever kind of crown you like to have on the top of your head, and it stays up nice and tall as we begin to find this rhythm in our body. And in this crown of our head, we are a lighthouse. So as we move our arms through this space here, I want you to imagine that there's fog all around you, and through your lighthouse, you're able to clear it through your rhythm in your arms. So we're clearing that fog. We are the beacon of light. We are the beacon of love within our body. We are the beacon of love within this space, and we, and only we, get to set ourselves free. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Finding that rhythm, rolling ankles, knees, whatever feels good, rolling it all out. Finding that space within the fog. Taking a nice deep inhale, reaching up high towards the sky. Exhale, let it go, forward fold. Whew. Check in with your body. What did that feel like? What was the sensation like? Was it awkward or something that maybe we're not so used to? And that's okay. Checking in and just simply noticing that that wasn't what I was expecting. And that's okay. Sometimes when we find rhythm within our body without music, it seems a little peculiar. But noticing what that sensation felt like, noticing what the imagery felt like that maybe was coming to you as you cleared that fog around you. Were you able to find the sun on the other side of the fog? Were you able to see the mist on the waters ahead of you? Were you able to feel in control of yourself and of the space around you, and that you had the power to clear the fog? Taking one more full round of breath here. And let's slowly begin to make our way down into our child's pose. Pressing back. So taking any of the expressions of child's pose that resonated with you the first time. Or maybe you want something different. Maybe you want to play around with your version of child's pose. Or puppy. Whatever it is that it fully allows you to just let go. Let's slowly come up and shift our hips off to one side and bring our legs around. Okay, so we're coming in to our butterfly. So feet, palms of our feet come together. We're just going to begin to flap that butterfly. Just noticing as we flap our butterfly, where are your shoulders located? Are they rounding forward? Can you open a little bit more through that heart center? Can you drop those shoulders down into the spine? Can you feel a little bit more strength in through your back and through your core as we sit up a little taller? Wonderful. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. All right, let's take our hands behind us. So from our butterfly, we're just going to float our legs side to side. Side to side. So similar to how we started our practice laying on our back and we twisted within that side to side. So we're just taking the same twisting that we've been doing since we started, finding the same opening, just in a different manner. And let's just hold onto this last side here and keep those arms back and just keep those knees twisted. So again, this whole practice is about finding the ability to find space for yourself and to find comfort. So as I keep telling you, if you've got a yoga block or if you've got a pillow, stick it somewhere that makes you feel comfortable, that makes you feel supported. Maybe you prefer it between your knees because it hurts to pull through that side body. Again, this is completely up to you. Where do you feel supported? And can you take that right shoulder and roll it open as the knees are off to the left? So if your knees are off to the other side, check in with the other side of your body. So whatever shoulder is on opposite the direction that your knees are pointing, can you roll it open? Can you try and bring shoulders level? Can you find space? Can you lift that heart center a little higher? And can you breathe into that side body? Taking another deep inhale. Exhale, let's bring our knees back up through center. Let's just give the opportunity to give your knees a nice big hug. So hugging them in close to our body, feeling that embrace. So aiming to at least touch your arms, hand on either side of your arms or hand on either side of your legs. So your body doesn't know the difference with a hug from yourself or a hug from someone else. The idea is that your body feels the same feel-good sensations no matter who's hugging you. So we're giving ourselves that loving hug before we switch to the other side. Good, let's bring our arms back behind us, dropping our knees off to the other side. Again, finding that place of comfort, wherever that feels good. Maybe we're tucking that block or pillow behind our hip bone. Again, it's completely up to you. This is your practice. Finding that space. Can you take that left shoulder or the opposite shoulder, if you did the other side, and roll it open? Can you begin to twist and find two shoulders in one line? Can you find a little bit more opening through that side body? Do you notice that you're a little tighter through the hips on this side? What does it feel like? Where is the sensation that you're feeling? I can tell you for myself, the sensation that I am feeling is not in the outside of my hip. It is definitely on my inner thigh. But knowing that wherever you're feeling the sensation is the right place for you to feel the sensation here today. There's no good place. There's no right place. It's just simply a place here today where we're feeling the sensation. And we take our breath, and with each exhale, we allow ourselves to sink a little deeper, to notice that that sensation or stretch softens with using our breath to guide us. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, coming back up through center. Let's open our legs this time into our butterfly once again. Taking those arms nice and wide. Exhale, let's find our embrace in another direction. So it's another way of embracing ourselves. We were embracing with our knees bent. Now we're embracing with our arms closer to our body. What does that feel like? Sitting up tall, finding that space. Taking those arms nice and wide, and let's crisscross other side. So one side and then the other side. So switch the other arm on top. Continuing to sit tall, breathe. And exhale, let it go. Bring your hands behind us. So we're going to imagine that we've got our magnets on the inside of our knees. So I want you to notice on the inside of your knees, you've got little magnets. We're holding our hands back. And from here, I just want you to choose to bring those magnets up just a little bit here. I'm just going to choose to hold. Now, normally when we do psoas shake, we do this laying on our back and we allow the sensation to just come from our hip flexors. But you'll notice in a seated position, our hip flexors are actually contracted, right? They're holding us up in the seated position here, especially with our knees out to the side. So we're going to imagine we're holding that space here, and I just want you to float your knees side to side, doing this on your own accord. But we don't need to go all the way down to the floor. We want to be just kind of noticing, what does the sensation feel like in our body? So we've got that magnetic. We're not changing the distance in our knees yet. We're just floating with our breath and noticing within our body, what does this feel like? It's kind of a funny sensation sometimes, because sometimes it can feel like your lower body is almost detached from your upper body, because we're able to keep our upper body still and just simply move those legs. Can you bring those knees a little bit closer together? Do you notice that when you bring your knees closer together, are you getting any vibratory sensation? Can you float side to side? What does your body want to do? What is your body telling you? Again, listening to your body. If this doesn't feel good or this doesn't feel right or you don't like what we're doing, just let it go. That's totally cool. But we're allowing our body to understand what it feels like to release through that hip joint. Good. Let's bring those knees slightly closer together. So you should be almost like two palms. If you were to clasp your fist, two fists roughly apart. And we're going to just float in this place. Don't have to go all the way down. We're just floating. We're just using that breath. A couple more breaths here. Easing our body into the idea of releasing through those hip joints. Taking another deep inhale. Exhale, let those knees fall open and lean forward. Letting that sensation go. So we're not forcing those feet into our body. We're just simply leaning forward here. Noticing that you maybe have a stretch in through that low back. Allow that forehead to tuck down towards your feet. If you had a big comfy pillow, you could lay it across your knees and just allow your arms to come over it. Just allow that back to relax. Allow your body to let go. Taking an inhale, coming back up through center. Taking your arms over to one side, giving your body a little twist, not forcing. And then go over to the other side and give yourself a little twist without forcing. Good, bringing those knees back up towards each other. Let's roll down onto our mat, bringing our knees in towards our chest. Taking the moment here, rocking it out. Maybe you kick back and forth, whatever feels good to you. Taking some deep belly breaths. And beginning to float our legs out long, our hands down by our sides or onto our belly, whatever feels good. Allow those feet to roll open, those shoulders to roll back into our mat, and our awareness to return to our breath, to the flow of breath in our body. We're not changing it or forcing it in any direction, just noticing it, observing it. How does it flow? Where does it flow? We soften our gaze, maybe we close our eyes. Just coming into that final savasana, that final relaxation. Allowing ourselves to fully feel all of the benefits from our yoga practice here tonight. This is a place where we reset, where we thank our bodies so graciously for guiding us through this practice, for allowing our minds to be open to the practice or the ideas within the practice. Practicing gratitude for ourselves, for our body, for how strong and courageous we are, for coming onto our mat, for our openness to just experience ourselves here today. Breathing. I can give you a couple moments of silence and I'll guide you back in when it's time to return and sum up our class. Beginning to bring our awareness back into our breath, back into our bodies. Let's roll our ankles and our wrists. We'll roll them in the other direction. If you haven't already done so, you can begin to open your eyes, bringing a little bit of light back into your body. Let's begin to rock our head side to side. What does our neck feel like? How does it need to move or stretch? Reaching our arms up high overhead, we give ourselves a wonderful long good morning stretch. And we slowly roll on to our side body here. And you can take as much time as you need to hang out on your side body. And then you can come up and meet me in an easy seated position near the top of your mat when you're feeling ready. It is so wonderful having you guys all here to join me here in this practice. I love offering these sessions to you all and being able to be part of your journey. It is truly an honor. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste.